Yes, lads, what is going on? Welcome to episode 16 of the Under-23 Sorare Road to Glory. I was going to say it's been a nice break, but we did make an episode last week. We had episode 15. I guess this past weekend has been a bit of a break for the Road to Glory in that we had no lineups to put out and subsequently none to look back on. So yeah, this episode is going to be a lot of looking forward, lineup building wise, to what we have this upcoming weekend, where of course domestic football is back. Thankfully, there's no international breaks now until sometime in March, I think, with a lot of the World Cup qualifiers. So that's all out the way. We can finally concentrate on and have a nice stretch of hopefully success up until March time, I guess, until the international break comes back around. If you are new to the channel, lads, and you haven't subscribed, please do so. And if you do enjoy the series and the video, please do give it a like. I will be announcing another giveaway in this video, so yeah, stick around to the end of it. It will be the normal requirements, but if you are new around here, you'll have to wait and hear about all those. But yeah, looking forward to the episode then. And like I said, there's nothing to look back on necessarily, but we will do a lot of research and sort of looking forward, lineup building wise, to this upcoming weekend, which is game week 29, I believe. I've updated the spreadsheet, and if it's too big, then sorry. No new players in, no new players out. The last player we bought was Machado. The goalkeeper punt that we've taken, I did get a few comments to say that we thought it was an injury to the first team keeper. It looks like he was ill. It looks like Machado probably doesn't get the nod as first keeper, but the Portuguese league doesn't play this weekend anyway, so we won't figure that out or find that out until next weekend, I believe. But yeah, I've updated all the floor prices. A couple of interesting ones, like Dakovic is really taking a nosedive. I think a lot of the Croatian players in general are, because of the winter break is coming up. Not that it's as bad as like the Austrian break or the Russian break, for example. But yeah, their prices have definitely decreased. And to be honest, Dakovic has been performing well. His team, Sibanek, have been really bad as well. So I'm not just pinning it down just on the break, but it definitely is helping, or not helping. Sorry, Affengrub has taken a bit of a turn for the better. I think he was at like £2.50 during the international break, even though he had a fixture. And he's at floor price £3.17. Of course, we have two of him, so that definitely helped. Leopold's gone down like 50%. I think he was at around £6, before the international break. But yeah, it's tough. It's the first game week back. I'm not saying don't take any notice of prices, but ultimately, like, this doesn't really matter to us. It's just nice for us to keep a track of how things are going. Another player, obviously playing in Croatia, Jankovic, who was suspended last game. His price has really taken a nosedive as well. Brown was in and around the same price. Klein Hansel was up marginally. We have the in-season version. Sago's gone down a little bit, even though he has a good fixture this weekend. So yeah, I am seeing a bit of a trend with the Croatian players right now, in that their prices are definitely taking a bit of a nosedive. Gallery values at just over £40. Cash balance at £2.42. I think the cash balance before the international break was around £44, if I'm not mistaken. So you could argue 10% difference maybe. Like I said, it doesn't really matter for us. I'm happy just to keep plugging along and keep enjoying the game. Like, it doesn't matter whether my gallery value is like £40, £50. Like, I'm not going to sell it. It doesn't really matter. For me, it's all about what you can win with the cards rather than... I mean, of course, it's nice to buy a card and sell him for a profit. But Sorare's changed over the years. Like, it used to be all about that before they introduced, like, the in-season and classic dynamic. Now it's all about, what can you yield from your card? You buy a card for a tenner, if it goes down to £5 at the end of the season, the real number is in, what have you won with that card? Like, what has that card contributed win-wise for you? Whether that's cash, whether that's more cards. So yeah, that's the big one for me. It's all about, what these cards are winning for me at the end of the day. Right now, not much. We have been on a bit of a slow burner so far. A lot of our wins have been from, of course, rivals, which right now isn't in the best of places, I don't think, from a yielding standpoint or potential to yield. So yeah, we're in a fine enough position. Like, we started with £20. I'm pretty happy where we are. Definitely not complaining about prices or anything. I'm just telling you that it's all about what you can yield from these cards these days, and that's just the nature of the new game. And you either accept it or you kind of move on. That's kind of my attitude with it. We can get rid of the spreadsheet for now. These are just obviously the visuals of the players. Nothing's really changed. Like I said, we haven't really bought anyone in or anything. But yeah, I kind of wanted to not dedicate the whole video today to what I'm going to tell you now. But I definitely think it's something that, I mean, I do it visually every game week. We've been doing it for 16 weeks now. But I kind of haven't really told you, not so much the benefits, but kind of how I like to lay out my lineup build over on Sorare data. Like, if you've not got Sorare data, this game does become pretty tough to play, definitely as a beginner. I think if you're, relatively new, even experienced players, of course, there's thousands of experienced players that have Sorare data, don't get me wrong. For me, like, it's impossible to play Sorare without Sorare data, and it's mainly down to the lineup builder and how I kind of set out my preferences. As you can see, there's a few numbers flying around, under some of the players, and that's all in my preferences. I don't like to do a ton of things, but for me, as far as the table view goes, showing the last 15 games scored is a big one for me. Like, I like to see, his previous scores. I think going in blind and not knowing, the scores or the past scores of your players, of course, it'll still show you your L5 and L15, which is, the average of those last 15 scores or last 5, of course. But I really like seeing the last 15 scores laid out. And then on top of that, my second preference is the home away adjusted. So it will underline the games. So for example, both our goalkeepers are at home this weekend. So Sorare data underline the games where he's played at home, right? So this 41 was at home. This 29 was at home to Antwerp. This 61 was at home to Club Brugge. Dakovic has just had 2 home fixtures. That's crazy, actually. That'll be 4 home fixtures in the last 5, and he still scored very, very poorly. So, yeah, no wonder why his price is at £2 something. But, yeah, you get the point. I'm a big proponent of having, home fixtures in general. I like my players, for the most part, to have home fixtures. Of course, half of the dedicated fixtures in a season, of course, half of them at home, for the most part. And so, yeah, you can't have every game at home unless you just had a ton of goalkeepers to choose from and you could just cherry pick the ones that are at home, of course. This week falls nicely for us in that sense. And yeah, for me, it's just a nice indication to show me that, okay, Dakovic's previous hasn't been great at home, but if you go in and investigate a bit further, you can see they played Dynamo Zagreb in that game. Of course they're going to lose. Like, of course he's going to score relatively bad. They played Lokomotiva Zagreb in that game. Okay, they're not actually that amazing, but they still spanked them 3-0. So I'm not sort of justifying the fact that just because Dakovic is at home this week, he's going to score well. But I would just prefer him to be at home. Comparing the level of opposition that he's playing at this weekend. So they're playing at home to Gorica. You see in this game here, at home to Istra, who are around the same level as a Gorica, I would argue. Maybe a little bit better, but not too much. They got a clean sheet in that game. So hopefully they've turned a corner and we can, maybe go into this game week with a bit of confidence, maybe, with Dakovic, or playing him at least. Whereas Tobelason is at home, which is great, but they play USG, who are known for scoring goals. So, best case scenario would look something like this, I think, for Tobelason. They lost 1-0, but he got 26 AA, which is massive for a keeper. Of course, if he can keep it below 3 goals scored or more, then great. If this game was 3-0, his score wouldn't look like 61, of course, right? You'll get the negative decisive because of that. So, in this specific scenario, both at home, but Dakovic on paper does have the better fixture for me. Like, Gorica just do score less goals than USG, as you can see. No goal in this Ozchek game. Okay, they scored 2 at home to Zagreb, but they were away in this game. So you look at their away fixtures. They scored 0, they scored 1. They scored 0, they scored 1, they scored 1. So, Sibanek aren't great. So I'm not saying it's definitely going to be 1 or 0, but it is a decent indication that, Dakovic for me is the play there. More often than not, I'm happy to be proven wrong. And of course, in hindsight, after the games are done, we'll definitely see, what the truth was in that sense. But it's all hypothetical. It's all, trying to, guesstimate what you think your player is going to score based off of, the last 5, the last 15. And like I said, I love looking at the last 15, especially in conjunction with if that player is at home this week or if that player is away. I don't know what's going on this week, by the way. We've got so many home fixtures. Conor Bradley, you can disregard him. He's going to be given away, in the deadline show that I do with Quinny every Friday before the game week deadline. So, yeah, we're both actually giving away Conor Bradley. So, make sure you can tune into that live stream because we both will be giving away 2 Conor Bradleys there. So, you can disregard him in this build. Klein Hansel's at home. Affengrubber's at home. They're all on to play according to Sorare data. We can have a little look over on Predictify as well, just in case, just to cross-reference to see, if there's any differences in opinions over here. So Kaiserslautern, I think I've butchered that name, but Klein Hansel's 90% on over there, so we don't mind seeing that. Affengrubber's at home to Oviedo, second in the league, so not an easy game, but I would fancy him to be pretty busy there. So I think we're going to use one of our Affengrubbers in that scenario. We've got Leopold at home Lads, what is going on? All of our players, bar these two down here, are at home. This is crazy. Like, I'm not used to seeing this. I do want to have a little look at Luton's fixtures because... So I'm a bit skeptical. Okay, he's 70% on, so that doesn't fill me with, you know, incredible confidence. So I don't think he's going to be in priority lineup. I think we're going to play Leopold over him, even though, like, you know, the fixture's probably even better for Leopold anyway. So I'm definitely not worried about that. Jacob Brown is at home to Almere City, which looks like a great fixture. Last game got nearly 30 AA, which is amazing. And thankfully, Dion Bello is fit again. So I'm really, really happy about that. They're away, but still looks like a decent fixture if we're looking at, you know, the odds. And Sego's at home as well. Sego did some really nice AA last game. It was just about getting the decisive. I'm really tempted to go double forward here and go Sego and Brown. All at home. I think I would probably captain Leopold. He's probably the most decisive, capable, alongside having some good AA. You know, they're all, like, the two forwards are definitely both more than capable. I'm going to just cross-reference. He is... Okay, so he's 90% on. There was a few rumours that he might have been injured with the Danish under-21 team, but it doesn't look like anything's been picked up. If there's anything that changes, I will, of course, change him out. But I think that's our main team. Kleinhansel's definitely within a shout as well, at home to Braunschweig, who aren't great. So it's just whether or not I think, you know, does Sego outscore Kleinhansel is my dilemma there, which I'd probably fancy him to do so. With the amount of AA that he can get alongside praying we get a DA out of him as well. So for the second lineup then, Toblason definitely plays. I think with the lack of forward options we're going to... the lack of extra player options that we're going to have here, I'm assuming we're going to go double midfield... double defender with Kleinhansel. Okay, so Aberdeen don't have predictions yet. He did start the last game, and I'm pretty sure it was because one of their players had a bit of a bad injury. So I think he's worked his way back in, if I'm being honest. Kenzo is in the side, but just not scoring well, even though they do have a good fixture. Maybe we take the risk on Tom Kraus. 70% on Predictify. You know, I can probably live with that. He came on and made a difference in the last game. I think we can probably take a risk on that. Kleinhansel is the extra player because, I mean, it's either him or Clarkson. There's just no... It doesn't seem like there's much risk with Kleinhansel, so I think I'm going to go in with something like that. Captain Affengrubber. Hopefully he gets, you know, or has a busy game, sorry. And yeah, this little injury sign is like a good thing normally. Like, it does keep you alert whether or not your players are injured. But I am pretty sure that Dion Bello scored for the Croatian under-21 side over this international break. So I'm pretty sure he's fit. So that's a good thing. I mean, it looks a bit lopsided in that our second team, our second most prioritized team, has a higher strength indicator than our first team, which is it's only marginal. Like, it's, you know, lots of A's, which is great. Like, there's nothing below an A in there. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do amazing, but according to Sorare Data's algorithm and how they, sort of set out the pick scores for these players, it's a combination, of course, of the matchup, scoring history, form, projected, if they're projected to play, and the odds on that team, you know, winning the game. So I'm pretty happy with that. Like, they're quite evenly matched sides. There was an argument to say Kleinhansel maybe gets into that top team, but I think double forward, I think there could be some potential 80 pluses in those two forwards there on a good day. So yeah, hopefully, those come good. I was going to go over to Sorare though. Actually, we could do, I mean, I have to show off the export button. I don't use this enough, but yeah, the export button has become an absolute game changer on Sorare Data. And because I only have two lineups, I don't necessarily think I don't need to use it, but it's just so much easier than obviously inputting the players into the lineups themselves. So yeah, it automatically just puts them in for you, literally as quick as that. You click got it, and you just give it a little. I don't even think you need to refresh, but I always do just in case. And then I just scroll down to the under 23 limited lineups that I put out, and boom, they're in. So we're in D2 and D3, so we've made our way out of the pits of D4, thankfully. We've got a star rare at the top of D2, which, well, top 5 actually get star rares. Boxes down to 25%, of course. I mean, I fancy our chances, lads. I do, genuinely. Like, lots of home fixtures. Do we have any Friday night? Oh, we have no Friday nights. What a blessing. I'm over the moon with that. As we know, the Friday night curse on Sorare definitely comes to bite you. And yeah, thankfully, all Saturdays and Sundays, which is amazing. But yeah, one thing I need to mention is the giveaways. I was going to say the giveaway, but I think I'm going to give away 2 cards in this video. I'm giving away the Conor Bradley in the deadline show tomorrow with Quinny, so he won't be given away. But I am giving away this Luis Sinistera. I did try and give him away to somebody in one of the previous videos, but the offer completely, it just vanished, basically. It expired. So yeah, the person clearly didn't want to or didn't go on their Sorare account. So we're going to we'll give him away again. And then we've got this Sherry fella who, I mean, I'll be honest, he's not great, but he's a card nonetheless. He's going for just under £1. So yeah, better than a kick in the teeth. I'll be giving away those 2 cards. All I need you to do is comment below. Let me know if you're excited for this upcoming weekend. And yeah, let me know your Sorare gallery name so I can send you a trade offer for those cards. And make sure you have on Sorare, you can either like say you want to just accept cash or you can accept cards as well. And previously I have gone on a few of your guys' accounts and sometimes it just says only accepts cash, meaning that I can't send you the card if I wanted to. And so yeah, just making sure that if you are in with a chance of winning one of these giveaways, make sure you change your preferences from cash only or, you know, ETH cash only to accept cards as well. So yeah, just wanted to make that clear. But yeah, no, honestly, super excited for the weekend. Of course, there was nothing to look back on necessarily because we had the international break, but thankfully we're out of that now. I wish you guys all the best for this upcoming weekend. Make sure you tune in to the Deadline show tomorrow with me and Quinny. I'll be giving away that Connor Bradley, who was absolutely amazing for Northern Ireland over this international break. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, lads. And I shall see you guys in the next episode.